Hey everyone, it's Nancy. After posting my Diagon Alley mini album, I received a couple of private messages and then several comments in regards to how I created the backgrounds and if I could do a tutorial on it. Okay, so here's my album, and I thought I would go ahead and explain a couple of the items I used and then show like the stencils that I used. The stencils played a huge role in this, but I had a really hard time finding them. I had actually given up on finding them, and I had no idea what I was going to do to be able to create what I wanted to create, and started thinking of ways of how could I make a brick stencil, and it was just crazy. So as I was getting ready to leave the store, I looked on this end cap as I walked by, and I found this. And it was a regular $3.99, and it was on clearance for $1.44. And I saw there were stencils there, so I stopped and looked. And on this pack, which I'm not sure how well you'll see it, but there are some baskets in here, and it's called Lori Speltz's Instant Images Pocket Templates. It's by Deco Art, and basically it's called Love and Bloom, I think, and it's birdhouses and baskets and garden stuff like that. But it did have these basket patterns, which if you take away the handle, it looks like a brick. So, and it's actually the size that I really wanted, so it was perfect, with the exception it's a basket, but we can deal with that. I just omitted the handle area of the two baskets, and then for my smallest bricks I used this little section right here. And when you look at the amount of area that I had to cover, you realize that's a lot of stenciling. So then I went to Walmart, and in the craft department they had I think it comes with 3 or 4 8.5 by 11 size sheets of stencils. And these, I've cut them apart, but there was this brick pattern, and then this is a leopard print, and then like a cheetah and some flowers, circles. Like I could have used this one. So I cut them apart, you know, for easy storage and easier to work with. So basically I used this stencil, and this one. So on the front cover here for this brick, I used this large basket here. You can see it fits right on there. And then for this small brick here, I used this one down here, the smaller basket down here. And then for this page, for like the stone walled, I used the leopard print, which you can see here. You flip it around and you do this way. And then the regular, just the rough texture, this is just using just a putty knife just on its own. And then for the small bricks here is when I use this one down here. Then for these bricks right here, I used this one. And again, I used this one on this page, and then the leopard print, this, for this. And on the back, this is just where you just use your putty knife and just, you know, slab it on there. So those are the stencils that I used to create the backgrounds. I used paintbrush to help with the smaller ones, and I used putty knife. As for the gel medium, I used the golden light molding paste, and I chose the light one because it's lighter in weight, and the regular molding paste would have made my album very heavy, and the album is not heavy at all. So this really did not add a lot of weight to it. It's, I don't know, it's just like more light and airy, I guess. I don't know. It's actually pretty soft, the texture. It's not really hard. So to get the colors of the walls, I did color up the molding paste. I just put some on my favorite little, I call this my blending mat. This is just a little basil mat called a splat mat that I use for mixing paint colors or mixing gel mediums with pigment or whatever. So I used 3 different paints to color it up. I used the Ranger Pebble, which is this one. I used the Ranger Mushroom, which is this one. And then I used the Craft Smart Gray, which is this one. So that's what I used to color up the molding paste before I applied it to the album. Once it was applied to the album, I needed to add kind of depth and dimension to the bricks and things. You can see the tones and colors and highlights of it here. So that is a ton of different distress inks. Mainly I used the pumice stone. This is like a non-color color. It's just a really basic browny gray tone, which is the color I needed. So this is overall the main color that I used on all of the pages. I used a little bit of gathered twigs. I used a little bit of ice spruce. I used some frayed burlap. I used some brushed corduroy, some walnut stain, some vintage photo, and of course black soot. So all of these colors kind of on there together and in little areas, and just for like tones and highlights and stuff like that. And the distress inks worked really well on this, and I was a little concerned at first that maybe this would resist it, but it didn't. It took it and it's fine. So these are all the colors that I used to color up the album. So I hope that this helps those of you that were asking in regards to how I made all of the walls. Somebody asked if I would do a tutorial. It's really, you know, you just put the stencil on and just wipe your stuff across it, and then, you know, do it as thick or as thin as you want. There's really not, I guess, really a tutorial I could do. If you really want it, I mean, I could do it, but it's pretty, I think, self-explanatory. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching.